Welcome to Sales Warrior War Room. Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Sales Warrior War Room. Got a really special guest coming to us all the way from Cali. Lori Blasco, say hello to everybody at Sales Warrior War Room.
Hey,
Isn't that
y'all.
fun?
That's
There you
fun.
go.
I
Yeah,
love it.
you got to have that radio voice. So many people don't listen to radio like they should, and I grew up listening to radio. But Lori, so great to have you on. We've been spending a little bit of time this evening, just kind of understanding, your businesses better. And this podcast is called Sales Warrior War Room. I really try to make it like real world. Like I'm not trying to bring things up that are like theory. I want like the real in the trenches business stuff, real biography type stuff, that younger people can use, maybe older people can use. Hopefully it inspires them. I mean, sales is kind of hard, right? Like, I know you've been doing it a lot of years. I've been doing it a lot of years, and you get kind of, in a funk sometimes when you're selling, and you need a little like, lift, a little,
Yeah.
a little something to get going again. Like it's not easy.
Now,
It's not easy. But anyway, I'll divert to you, Lori. So what I like to, you know, for everybody that's listening is it's kind of important that like there's a story involved. So obviously you didn't like, you weren't born and hey, I'm a salesperson or saleswoman. So you probably had a process that you followed that you became interested in being like a business owner in sales, whatever. Can you just kind of share your story a bit? And I will be absolutely quiet.
yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on. It's
Absolutely.
kind of funny when you said your statement, we weren't born salesmen. I kind of disagree because
Oh, okay. All good.
there's nobody more relentless than a child asking for something, right? So
Oh, yeah. You're
my
correct. Yeah.
my youngest and I, we flip cars, and I was telling you about that. And
Yeah.
he'll
Yeah.
buy
You
a
sure were.
car, and
Yeah.
he'll try to sell me on it all day long, and that kid will pitch me once, and he'll get a no, go back, pivot again, come back, pitch me a second time. And I'm like, for another reason why, mom, you should buy this. And, let me explain to you this. And it's like, he will be relentless and try to break
Okay.
me down until he gets that yes. And this really is where, like, when I was younger, I was
Mhm.
realizing kids were doing it every day because I started out working with kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was kind of like I always say, well, from birth, we know how to pitch, but we didn't
Yeah.
know we wanted to be an entrepreneur, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know. I mean, I grew up in the
Mhm.
generation where you go to school, you get good grades, you go to college,
Right.
except for I didn't do those things. Um, I was a good student. I wasn't a great
Hmm.
student.
Hmm.
I dropped out of college. I'm definitely the black sheep of the family. And it got to the point where I was like understanding I didn't do well working for other people to build their dreams. I want to build my own.
Yeah.
But then that's when the noise came in. It was like, yeah, but my parents are going to laugh in my face, which they did.
Yeah.
Um, it kind of like caused a lot of tension and tide in between us because they were like, you cannot be doing what you're doing. You have a family. This is crazy. Like, you need to go get a job. You need to have, secured income. And yeah, that's it still sticks with me to this day. Right.
Yeah.
It is something that, like, anytime, because as an entrepreneur, every day something else happens. Right. And not to skip around too much, but that voice shows up. That voice shows up of like, oh my gosh, they were right. Here I am, some like 40 something years later, and I'm still hearing, that voice of the doubt of you can't do it. So you know, I think ultimately, and you know, you can help maybe guide me a little bit, but
Yeah.
I think for me, I decided I wanted to be an entrepreneur. You know, it wasn't just about working for someone else.
Hmm.
Um, my first career started in law enforcement. And I realized that like there was an emotional capacity that I did not have. And I knew that I wanted to advocate, I wanted to help people, but I didn't know, like, I knew that wasn't the space. And I didn't know what it was. Right.
Right.
So I don't know if y'all have the DARE program out there. It's a drug assistance reliance abuse abuse education program. I just butchered that. So I used to teach DARE. I used to go to elementary schools, high
Well, I've
schools.
heard of Dare.
Yeah, I started talking to
Yeah.
kids, and I was
I
like,
can see the
"Hey,
logo, like as you say it, I can see like the logo,
yes,
like
the little
in the
logo,
school system. Yeah, yeah. I hadn't
yeah."
thought of that for years.
Yeah, so I started there and I was just like, hey, I'm actually pretty good at being on stage and talking to kids. Like, what should I do from here? And
Mhm.
then that's when I got into the childcare space and I realized like I just wanted to make change in this world. I wanted to
Yeah.
help people before, like, I didn't want to meet them in handcuffs. I wanted to meet them before that time had happened.
Okay.
And I knew nothing about getting into that space. So I took the leap anyways. I did that I'm still doing it now for 20 something years. And through that, I realized, oh my gosh,
Are you
I'm
still
actually,
talking to schools about like through the Dare? Are you really?
oh,
Oh wow.
dare no. Sorry,
Oh,
dare no. No, no, no. I transitioned from there into preschools when I realized that I was
okay.
really good at like helping kids.
Okay.
That's when I transition out. But I'm still
Oh,
doing
okay.
preschool. And I was about 8 or 9 years ago, I was like, I wanted to do something more because I realized like there's a cap, right? You can only have so many students. And it is not easy being in a position of running multiple locations as one individual.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, you want a franchise? No. You want this? No. So it's like, I'm going to go into sales. Decided to get into real estate.
Okay.
And everyone's laughing at me like, what do you know about real estate? I don't know. I know you can make a lot of money in real estate. So I was like, okay,
Yeah.
let,
Okay.
let me figure this out. So
Right.
I had never had any social media. So I think it was my oldest son said to me, Mom, if you're really going to be serious about this real estate, I want you to go to Texas and go meet this guru who's going to teach you everything, all the things. And I did. I paid big lump sum of money, went there.
Wow.
Was there for 3 days. It was like from a Friday to a Sunday.
Okay.
And everything went over my head, John. It was literally like, oh my gosh, I just wasted $15,000, plane tickets, hotel. I was like in the math. I was just doing all the math in my head, you know?
Yeah.
And the funny thing is remind you now, I still don't have social media or things. So like, I don't really know who this guy is. And he comes up to me and he said, you don't really know who I am, do you? I said, no. I said, no, I do not. He's like, do you understand anything we're talking about? Because you have just, I sat in the front row, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, you've just looked confused the entire time that you've been here. And it started to like immediately like validate everything that I was thinking of. Like, oh my God, I wasted all this money. And this guy now noticed it too. And here I am, like just fish out of water, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I told him, I said, no, I took really good notes. And he kind of laughed and he's like, well, you know, I'm here to help you even after I leave. And not gonna lie, I literally got on the plane, I started crying. Got home.
Oh, I understand. I've been there. Like, yeah, I can completely understand that. That's
Yeah.
tough because you're making a huge life change, and I've taken a lot of psychology courses, and it's hard when you're being immersed in something that you have no background in, because like that is like taking you and putting you in a computer programming class, and they just start talking about computer programming, yet you have no background in computer programming, and so you're just being like thrown out all these acronyms that you have no clue of what it is. So your mind has absolutely nothing to hang on to. And so it just falls. Like he sits there and talks about like, whip or whatever, from a social media standpoint. And there's nothing to like, click because there's no foundation. If there's no foundation, you can't gather information where there's no foundation for gathering it. The human brain doesn't work that way. You gotta have a foundation for gathering data. And that's tough. I'm trying to think of like a time where that was, but typically like anytime I've done training when they're talking about acronyms, I'm like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Like, a lot of sales training now, they just show charts and acronyms and everybody tends to know the acronyms but me. And I'm like, can't we just talk like human beings to each other? Why does everything have to be an acronym? Like, so I can, but the key is though, like you didn't stop there. Like I would say, like this is the war room. So you warriored through it. You obviously have your social media going and rocking and rolling for you now, right?
Yeah. You know, what was crazy is that, I did some more crying when I got home. Right.
Right.
They were like, you need to be on social media because like, you got to be in the Facebook group so that you can do all the things with the people. And I was like, okay, this is wild. I think I wanted to cry more with that too, because it was like, I'm very personal, didn't like my information being out there, I didn't want my preschool parents to think that I was like leaving that space and, was going to, deteriorate those businesses. So I call up my mentor and I said, what do I do? He says, this is what I want you to do. I want you to perfect the art of failing forward. I just want you to go out there and mess stuff up. And I was like, wait, what? Like, I don't get it. He's like, just go mess stuff up.
I see that. I can, I understand that. Like, I get that. I get that. Like, yeah, I can see where he's coming from because like most of us are scared. You're not really in essence, people are not scared to do anything. Like what you're scared of is the outcome if it goes negative. So you're not scared to talk in front of people. You're scared if you talk in front of people, you're not going to be able to do it. Like, but you know what I'm saying? Like you're more afraid of the outcome than you are the actual action. And I see what he's saying. So he's giving you the freedom to not worry about the outcome so that you can do the action. That makes a lot of sense. That's pretty wise.
It was something that I never heard before, right? Because of course, growing up, it was always like fear of disappointing my parents, fear of disappointing my kids. I was like, okay, now everyone's got all eyes on me because, here I am talking out loud about I'm pivoting in a space that I have no business being in because I know nothing. So after he granted me permission, I got stuck in like the paradigm paralysis of like analysis paralysis. Right?
Oh yeah. Very familiar with that too.
Oh. And it was like, okay, cheesy, but Nike, just do it. Just jump, Lori, just go.
Yeah.
And I still was stuck, right? And what it took was, ironically, at the time, I was also teaching at a state level for preschool to the curriculum that we teach for other childcares to be able to teach the curriculum. All right.
So you teach other childcare owners how to do curriculum in their childcare?
Correct. The approved curriculum. And being a data and analytical nerd, I was like, wait a minute. I already know the skill development cycle says that only 10% knowledge is needed to be able to move forward. I don't have to know all the things because I was like, I have to know all the things before I could do this. And I convinced myself of that. So I literally would go in my office like 4 a.m. because I'm a very early riser. I would get up at 4 a.m, sitting there and literally just watch video after video of my mentor, just how he was doing this. Right.
Wow.
And fast forward, my second week in, I got somebody to sell me their house. And it was to sell me their house.
Oh, okay.
And it was the funniest thing because, John, I will tell you, I was butchering every last thing I was telling him. But what I realized is I was solving a problem, and it brought back to my advocating for other people and being able to
Yeah.
help people, right? And this guy was in a position of where like they had already moved state. He had 6 kids. He was renting it out, renter after renter damaging it. The
Oh,
house
wow.
for over a year, completely in shambles, and just not having the income and means to fix it. Meanwhile, struggling to pay his own bills at home.
Yeah.
And, I literally butchered the whole thing. And he said, he was laughing. He goes, I don't even know if you know what you're talking about, but for some reason, I'm going to go. It was an attorney state that I was in, thank goodness, right? Because some states, they're not attorney states. They just do title companies in real
Okay.
estate.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to go into this lawyer's office and sign all the papers. And he goes, I just hope you show up with the money. And I was like, oh, I will be there. Like I would ask this guy, hey, it's Halloween.
Right.
Are you taking all your kids trick or treating? This
That's
is,
awesome. Mm-hmm.
I think this was the difference, like we were talking about, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
there's so many people out there when it comes to sales that they all have a methodology of what works best for them, right?
Right.
That didn't work for me because it doesn't resonate and align with who I am, right?
Okay.
And it came down to like my genuine curiosity of like the same thing in my preschools of like, hey, how are your kids doing? Did they go trick or treating? And this guy's like, wait, are you trying to buy my house? You're asking me about my kids trick or treating? And I was like, yeah. I was like, we still got some time in between the closing. I just wanted to check in with you, see how your life's going. Let you know how mine's going. Got money. I'm ready. All along the way, and never met face to face. Never met on Zoom. We only ever text message, and I'm sitting here going like,
wow.
This is never how I've ever been taught how to do business, right?
Right.
And I'm buying a house I've never seen. So this transitioned, to where I was like, that was so easy. I could do that again, except for that didn't work, right? And then you go back to being stuck.
How long ago? So from the time that you were able to get that house, obviously you flipped that house for profit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So from that time period to the next opportunity, what was the time in like from then till the next? So from house 1 to house 2, how much time lapsed?
So the process is called wholesaling houses. So I didn't actually physically fix the house and flip it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
No. So basically it's kind of hard to explain like all the processes, but
Mhm.
somebody bought it and flipped it, right? Basically, I found the house for them. So if you came to me and said, hey, Lori, I'm looking for some houses to flip, I go out, I find houses to flip, I negotiate all the pricing, and then I bring it to you, I mark it up and sell it to you, right?
Oh, I see. So you can just on the handoff, you made your profit. Got it.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And then good for them because they don't have to find these houses. You've already found all these houses. You did the footwork, so you should get paid.
Yes.
Got
And
it.
they know
Okay.
that, right? They know
Yeah.
that they know that going into it. So fast forward, I was not getting anywhere for a couple weeks, and I'm impatient. So call a mentor up and I said, what am I doing wrong? And I think that's where a lot of people kind of like get in this space of like, I don't want to say ego, but sometimes, especially when you start making the money, right?
Right.
They know all the things. I don't need you to tell me what to do. But back to that skill development cycle, I know that if you do not have somebody who can be a mentor to you, watch over you, model for you, and be able to give you feedback, I mean, yeah, you can do it on your own, sure, but like it's going to take that much longer, right? So,
Oh, makes sense. Yeah.
I was so fortunate to have this guy literally hold my hand, right? I
Mhm.
mean, he wasn't making the calls, he wasn't having the conversations. Like I had to do the action aspects. But it came down to like eventually I started making so much money that I was like, okay, it's time to scale and, hire and, do all the things.
Wow.
And business was great. But then I realized, like, every step, that same process of like, here comes the noise again. You're not going to be able to do this. You're going to fail. Like, you know, fear kills dreams.
Isn't that wild though? Like you bring up such, and salespeople need to hear this as they're listening to this, but like I kind of suffered through the same exact thing that you're talking about. If it doesn't come from like your own inner voice, there's enough doubter people out there that you can be around that really haven't done anything with their lives that can always tell you how you're going to fail. Like,
Yeah.
like I remember that like so many, like multiple times in my life that happened to me. And every time it happened, I was just like so focused on proving them wrong. Like I was like, as soon as they said I couldn't do it, it made me want to do it so much more. I'm like, I'm going to prove to you that I can do it. I don't even know how to do it or what, but it's just like, it's an inner thing. I don't think you can train to it. I think you either have it or
Yeah.
you don't have it. I mean, I know why I have it. It's because like, my family came to this country with nothing, like less than nothing, and didn't even know the English language. And now there's over 100 of us, like, and that's not even all of us when we come to like a family reunion. And so like that's like I'm always telling my boys that too. I'm like your great grandfather, like don't like I encourage him with it. I just say like I mean he and your great grandmother came here, with absolutely nothing, not being able to speak the language, and so it's like what a great opportunity we have in the United States. But you got to be like focused on the opportunity, or the opportunity walks over you. If you don't walk into it's going to walk all over you. And then you get what I'm saying, like you get all these people that are like what do you have, victims, like, oh, that happened to me, that happened to me, that happened to me, that happened to me. And I'm like, no, it didn't happen to you. Like you you know these things happen to you, but you chose what you did next. That was your choice. People hate hearing that, but like it's so true. Like
Yeah.
I like what you're saying about like it's like the mental demon. It's either an exterior demon or it's like our internal voice. That's why like I'm a big believer in positive affirmations, and like right out of bed listening to something positive and reading positive books and reading about like wealthy people that beat all these obstacles to become wealthy. I mean, there's so many of them too. Like I just read Al Pacino's book. I don't know if you've seen it. Just came out. I don't think I've read the whole thing. I think I'm about 60% into it. But that guy was so poor. He lived with his mom, only child. And I think he lived with his mom and his grandparents. And when he was a youngster, he would go to like a deli and get crackers that they gave you for free and put ketchup in them as a sandwich. Like that's how less of
Wow.
money that kid had. I mean, that's Al Pacino. Like he had so much drive to succeed because he came up so poor, like incredibly poor. But it seems like the answer to like that still small voice that's negative is like, I always think it's like written goals, going towards your goal, and changing the way that you, like if you can get to the point where your inner voice is a positive inner voice, and it's not easy, and it's not easy like every day. Like it's not like it's like, oh well, I got it now. Now I'm a positive thinker, and every time I think about something, I think positively. You got to do it every single minute of every single day, and it can be exhausting. Uh, but that's how you get the good results in life. Is
It definitely is work. I will tell you, like
Yeah,
for me, removing I call it removing all the noise, right?
yeah. I kind of like calling it noise too. Noise
It,
demons.
yeah, they are noise demons. And
Yeah,
it's for me, I had to come back to saying, you know what? That's their perception or their opinion of me. It's not mine. That's theirs. I will not own it. right?
Yeah,
I
there you go.
and I had to understand that, like, I got big into reading. So funny. All through high school, I never read one book. College, before I dropped out, I never read one full book. And
What'd you
now I'm
study when you're in college? I'm just curious.
law enforcement, criminal justice major.
Okay.
I so I mean, like, it's kind of funny because, like, I've been reading, all day off and on. When I get overwhelmed, I go to read, and it's like 95% of the stuff that we hear, that we store, right, are lies that we convince ourselves to be true because somebody else said it was true. When
Yeah,
in fact,
I agree
it's
with
just
that.
they're giving an example. Somebody told me that I would never amount to anything, that I would be so lucky to get into Taco Bell University. And to this day,
Really, that's kind of mean.
and that has stuck with me. But at the same
Yeah.
time, I also realize that person was my father.
Okay.
He said that because I was not showing up to be the person he wanted me to be. He
Okay.
was accepting me as a student that he felt that I should be for him, not for me, right?
Right.
It
Right.
it's something that, like, and I know I love my dad to death. Like, bless your heart, daddy. I don't mean, like, my dad's still alive with us, but, like,
Mhm.
I don't mean to put him down. But out of
Right.
frustration, these words were said, and I realized, like, it's not a pity story. It's not like we all got sad stories, right? But these things that we convince ourselves, like, oh yeah, well, I couldn't figure that out, so he was right, right? And I've had to pick up life coaches along the way. I
Yeah.
think ultimately finding groups like entrepreneur groups like Apex, finding people that you surround yourself with really does solve a lot, because I can't go vent to my friends about my entrepreneur life when they punch a clock. They don't get it. They don't get
I
it,
get it.
right?
I completely concur. I mean, that's been my life too.
And then there's all the things, right? You go onto social media and there's like, hey, get this program and it's going to solve all your problems, and get that one and you're going to make money overnight. You're going to make $40,000 in your first month. And you're like, oh my God, like the smoke and mirrors, right? Like,
Right.
it, sure. Have at it. Like, keep looking at it all. And I think, like, that kind of really threw me for a loop too. Cause once I finally understood social media, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm doing all the things wrong. Look at these people are making $40,000 in their first week. I was so naive. I was like,
Right. 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 Yeah.
oh, so I was like, poor
Well, you're
Lori. Like,
really bringing up some great things, Lori, because like you're talking about the negative Nelly voice that we all have. It's like the voice that says you can't do it. And typically that's the loudest when you're doing something new. And so something new is scary, but then you have the Debbie Downer voice from Saturday Night Live, right? You got the Debbie Downer voice telling you, that's not going to work, and that's prevalent, and we're kind of taught that way. Like we're taught to think, well, think about how that might not work. Like you're taught that, and but you're not taught to like take control of your mind. You're not taught to, hey, this is going to work. You're not taught, like, for the most part, outside of maybe sports, in my opinion, most people aren't taught like self-esteem skill sets. Like, how do you build your self-esteem? Like I was a basketball player and a really bad football player, but but it's like, how do you I know how you make somebody a better basketball player, but how do you make them think they're a better basketball player? You know,
mm,
you know that
that's a great question. That is,
Yeah,
like, it's true.
or own it. It's one thing to be good at something. It's another thing to like internalize it and own it. And a lot of people struggle with that too, because we're taught as kids to not brag. We're taught as kids not to don't compare yourself to others. You're not better than somebody else. Well, in reality, you might be better than somebody else. It's like there's a lot of crayons in that crayon box, and I don't know. Some of them are going to be used more than others. I'm just saying, but I don't know. I'm just thinking along the lines of like we're taught to minimalize our skills and our talents in order to fit in and to be like the common denominator and to like work for the corporate America or work for the hourly wage and go get more education so you can maybe get that raise, maybe not get that raise. You know, I've been in corporate America for close to 40 years, but I just play the game. Like, I don't really like believe in everything that I'm taught or whatever. And, but I kind of do it in silence unless it's ethically wrong. And I've never been really in a situation where it was ethically wrong, but I like what you're talking about. I think there's so much power in people learning to control their minds better, control their attitudes better, particularly in business. And then another thing that you brought up was that you get on social media and you hear these people making 40K their first year out. And then I think about something that I personally have to think about, because anytime you get success, regardless of what that success is in, you always compare yourself to the person or the company that is doing a little bit better. You know, like you get that brand new car and you're like, man, I just love this brand new car. It's got a great stereo in it. I don't have to worry about it. Like, it gets me from point A to point B. It's got a good engine in it. And then you find out about the guy that just got the brand new Mercedes and you're like, man, what am I doing wrong? You know, like you can only like be happy with that for a moment until you, like, I always think of like word pictures, and it's like you're on top of this mountain and it's a predefined mountain. Like, you wanted to have that car, but as you're on top of that mountain, you look up and you see somebody looking down on you that's just a little higher on the mountain. And then you're like, and then you're dissatisfied. Instead of like looking down over your, over the mountain and looking how far you made it up the mountain, you're more concerned with that individual that made it just a little higher. And we're kind of taught that too. And I think we should kind of, I think a powerful thing in sales and business is to celebrate your wins. Like in my worst jobs with my worst income that I ever made, where I was still selling a lot of stuff, I was just poorly paid. It's just the way it is in your early 20s. They find a way to get you to sell a bunch and not pay you. They know how to do it. They're MBAs that go over all the numbers and crunch it. They're like, oh, well, we know how to like work this so that individual sells a bunch and that individual sells a bunch, and we'll just kind of move things around. And next thing you know, we'll be really happy with how they're not making very much money. Like that's the way it's done. But what I'm saying is, like, even then you got to reward yourself, whatever reward is, like so important, which brings up my next question. So when you do something good in business or sales, how do you reward yourself?
It's so funny that you mentioned that, because I never used to.
Yeah.
And I had a life coach who he said to me one day, do you ever record your wins? I was like, I don't have time for that.
You mean like write down, I did this, I did this, I did
that. He wanted me to record my wins. And I was just like, I don't have time for that. He's like, I knew you were going to say that. And he goes, so you have that many wins then? And I was just like, well, no, I didn't win anything this week. And he's like, let's stop and let's backtrack. He's like, what did you do today? So I told him. And he stops me and he goes, Lori, you have done more today than most people do in a week. And I said, how so? And he said, people that are wired like you think it's ordinary because you think that you need to keep climbing that mountain at a speed to which, like you said, catching up with that other person, right?
Right, whatever that is. Yeah, whatever that next level is. Yeah. Yeah,
whatever that next level comes to. And he's like, write it down. And I didn't really listen really well. It was actually Ryan Stewman. It was Ryan who he said something like, who had all these wins this week? And I never put them out. I never put them out in public before because, like you said, we're taught not to boast. Don't brag.
Right.
Don't, and gosh, social media, I feel like that's all that is nonstop bragging, right? That it has lost, like, to me, it doesn't even make anything anymore. But what I realized that this isn't for anyone else. This is for me.
Right.
And when I started to celebrate wins, I didn't give myself things like monetarily, right? It was more along the lines of like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how much I did today. Like, I started learning more even about my goal setting for the day because I was like, okay, I did 3 money making tasks today, but I also did a lot of things today that didn't make money. I mean, yes, they were still necessary, but what if I
Yeah.
realigned it to where every day I could say, let's focus on that first. And then my wins started to look really different, right? It was like maybe 3 wins versus like 10 things that I just, I made the phone call, I, completed the paperwork, whatever, right? Like those,
See, I think
those
that's great because what you cannot control is who says yes. We can
yes.
act like we can control who says yes, but we absolutely cannot control who says yes. And
Yeah.
sometimes why they're not saying yes has nothing at all to do with the pitch, has nothing at
Yep.
all to do with the business proposition. It happens in a vacuum that you have no idea all the details of why or why not it's not moving forward. Like it's,
Yeah.
some,
So,
that's what I believe. So,
yeah.
but yeah, but you can control
Sorry,
your
cut you
actions.
off. Yeah. So, and the thing that the way that really changed for me was like, and you're right, because like, did I only make 3 phone calls that day to create wins? No, I probably made like 80 calls,
Wow.
right?
Okay.
But the thing is that like when you're trying that hard, things can feel like you're not making progress. But when I started recording them all, I was like, oh my God, I got a lot done today. It felt so good, right?
Well, if you
It
made 80 phone calls, did you leave messages on all 80 phone calls?
so when I went before I hired out and got like a BA team, I did a cold call center, and then like that kind of died out, like the trends moved around all over the place. Um, it was all dependent upon I had inbound leads, outbound leads, like who was I talking to. But I chased it all. I chased it all in the
But
beginning.
did you like leave a message like this is Lori of Velasco and I'm calling you to, so like you made an impression on 80 leads?
No, not
No.
always. I
Okay.
didn't always
I was
leave
just curious.
not always voicemails, which brings me like to my next thing of like with sales. I wasn't all about just trying to get to the punch. For me, I'm more people over profit. I would rather have longevity of a relationship than the
Okay.
money.
Okay.
Um, I'm very, very much big on the no like and trust factor. Like I was saying, I would call that. I mean, I would text that guy like, "Hey,
Mhm.
it's Halloween. I knew he had 6 kids. You all going trick or treating?" Like,
Yeah.
guess what? Here's a crazy story.
Hmm.
I bought his brother-in-law's house last year.
Oh, so you got two, a
7
two for
years
one.
later, 7
Okay.
years later,
Oh, okay.
I bought his brother-in-law's house. And he was just like, he did tell me, I knew I probably could have got more for that house then, but he's like, you were just so authentically raw and real and honest that like I didn't need to go to anybody else. And my brother-in-law is in the same situation. He inherited a house that he can't afford to keep up. He needs to get rid of it. And I was like, oh,
Wow. So you made a solid long-term impression on this individual, even at a point where in your own mindset you didn't think you had like the skill set, but you
mm-mm.
obviously had the skill set because not only did you get the first line of business, but you got like the referral business. And yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that story.
There's a lot of alignment when you go into like a lot of people don't look at me being in childcare and sales, right? I'm having to sell you on why me and my team are going to be the best option for your child. Your child cannot be replaced. Your house can be replaced. Your car can be replaced. You sign more documentation when you buy a house or when you buy a car than when you go and load your child off to strange people that you don't know and they don't know. And I think
That's
about
true.
that. I think
That
about
is
that.
true. Yeah.
I realized how good, and I would tell people in the childcare
Mhm.
space when they were coming to interview for the position to enroll their child with us, and I would say to them, I can tell you anything I want to tell you because I know I'm really good at sales. You can come see for yourself
Yeah.
because there is no lying that a child can do. You try to get a child to perform for you, they'll call you out, right?
That is
They will
true.
not, not just one, but multiple children, right? They're not going to be
Yeah.
all like, they can't fake the funk. So I realized there, okay, I'm onto something. The relationships that I had learned to build there, I learned that that is the best way for me. And I'm not
Mhm.
saying it's the best way for everybody else. There's so many sales gurus. Maybe it's going to resonate with you. Like my guru, his sales strategy would never resonate with me. I could never talk to people the way he talked to people. It wouldn't work for me because it's not
Yeah,
how
yeah,
I am, right? He's a great guy. I don't want to make him sound like a bad guy. He's amazing. But
Is it different? Are we talking about Ryan or are we talking about somebody different?
a different one. I've had multiple
Oh, have
mentors.
you? Okay, no worries, no worries. Yeah,
Yeah,
all good.
yeah. So yeah, it came down to kind of like he would just talk so raw and real to people like, well, you know what, your house is kind of a shit box, so I'm giving you the best option that I can. And I'm like, oh my God, I could never talk that way to someone. But it worked for him,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
It,
I
it,
can't,
it
I can't be snarky to people either. Like my best thing that I say to people is I'll say this, particularly if I think that it's not going well. Like if I feel like I created an amazing case for them to do business with me, but I'm getting zero buying signs from them, I say this. I say, you know what, Bob, I do things at a gut level. Like there's a lot I do at a gut level. I sit there and I think, and I sit there and I visualize it, and I sit there and I think, is this right for me? And if at a gut level, if it's right for me, 98% of the time I do it. And that's what I'd ask you to do. I've certainly made a case for, this benefit, and this benefit. And I gave it to you as detailed as I possibly could based upon how you described what you were trying to do. But at the end of the day, at a gut level, if you feel like it's the right thing for you to do, I want you to ping me and come back to me and ask me questions. And if you don't, that's fine.
I love
We'll leave it
that.
at that. We'll part friends. And when you do that, it's kind of hard for them not to ping you and ask questions. And but that's like not
Where
every
did
time.
you learn that? Where did you learn that? Is that just something that like is that genuinely and truly like how you do like you make
Where
your
did I
decision?
learn that? That is a great question. Let me think. Where did I learn that? Well, so there's a terminology, and I learned this years ago, and I can't remember who from, but it's called burning a lead,
Mhm.
and it's got to be done very tactfully. But the concept is that you push it away, like you give them all the reason that they should do business with you, but in the same instance, like you tell them they can't have it, like they got to
Mhm.
come and get it. like like you're not going to beg them to get it. Like here it is, and I'll make it available to you, but you're going to have to ask me for it. Like I've given you all the reason to have it, and then again, like it's also that mindset, and this is an important mindset. Like whether you do this or not, it's not going to change my life. Like if you do this business with me, it's not going to change where I vacation this year. It's not going to vacation. I mean, it's not going to change if I get a steak dinner at this restaurant or that restaurant. It's literally you doing business with me isn't going to change one thing about my personal situation. But if you do business with me, it could change something about your personal situation. And I'm not saying that I say that to people, but that's my mindset. Like I'm like, you know what?
Like, you always have bombs to drop, John. Like every
Yeah,
time.
I'm just sitting there. I don't know where that came from, but it's
Yeah.
just like, it's just a mindset. It's like, if you do business with, I even tell my people that they're like, I'm sorry I couldn't get you an appointment. And I'm like, yeah, don't be sorry. Did you call these people? Yeah. Did you email these people? Yeah. They didn't want to speak to me? No. That's fine. Like we're not looking to set up and make people have a meeting with me. We're looking for
Yeah.
the people that want to have a meeting with me. Like
Yeah.
I would rather have one meeting a day with somebody that wants to talk to me than 8 meetings a day with people that you begged them to have a meeting with me. Like that's a waste of my time.
Yes.
Like I'm not looking to convince anybody of anything. I'm looking to find people that need me. for whatever I'm selling, hot tubs or, whatever it might be, like, but like, it's just a mindset, pull them in versus push them down, like.
That's the worst. That's the worst when someone's literally just doing everything they can to convince you to buy the product. I'm like, but you do not have what I want. And that's what we need to do is we need to be talking to the people that we solve their problem.
Right.
The people that we have what they want. Not
Yeah,
the other way
exactly.
around. I ain't trying to convince anybody anything. Like you said, it's like when you try to convince me, I'm like, this ain't gonna go well.
Exhausting. That's not a fun way to live. It's better to get people to, like, prospects to bubble up that are proper than to try to push people that aren't even in the right paradigm of what you're doing. It's like, it's ludicrous. It's like, sticking a square in a round hole. Like, yeah, you might be able to do it, but you're going to break the toy. Like, I don't know.
That's funny.
I just do not think that is a good idea. But I know people are taught to do that. Like, oh, he made it to the dealership. Make sure he leaves with the car. Well, if it's right for him, leave with the car. If you don't have the car that he wants, then you're doing a disservice to him. That's just my mindset.
That was a good one. The dealership's a good one because it almost would make you feel like, did you just study only the objections and that's it? Like, did you not study anything else that you were supposed to learn? Like how to build a relationship, how to get me to know, like, and trust you. Like,
hey, Lori, I'm going to go ahead and promote what I do. I am John the Sales Warrior Sansoni. I've been professionally selling successfully for 34 years. What can I teach you? How to prospect, present, follow up, and most importantly, how to close. I have a 3-day masterclass that includes motivation and the mental tools to succeed in business and sales. My course includes worksheets, audio, video, and can be taken in 30 action blocks. Also included, how to have greater confidence. My course should be $400. If you get it today, $24.95. And included my book for free. Once purchased, you'll get free monthly inspiration from me. Just go to saleswarriorinspire.phonesites.com and order yours today. That's it. Back to the show.
Is there anything you want to add to the show? Like anything like you have on your mind you want to make sure is said tonight?
Nothing to think of. Like, I love chit chatting with you. Like, I think there's a lot of organic stuff that comes out sometimes once it gets into the flow. So I appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I'm not a very open book. I try to be, but I'm not.
Right.
It's just how I am. I'm actually very, very shy. People are like, well, you're so wait, you don't ever come across that way. So thank you for, I actually, for 2026, I'm trying real hard to come out of my shell and
good for you, Lori.
More vocal and doing more and sharing more, because I'm not big on sharing things other than struggles, because I know that that's what really, like, I can't tell you how many times people will reach out to me and like, your post, Lori, your post, like, okay, I don't need to post about business. I need to post about all the problems that I have in business.
Yeah.
About it. Nobody talks about it. Right. So
that's what moves the emotional needle. So have you ever watched a movie where in the first 5 minutes, some character dies and you could care less?
Yep. Movie's over.
Well, yeah, it's like, I can't remember what movie it was, but I think it was last year or the year before I was watching this movie, and they spent no time telling me about who this character was. And it was like a close character to the other, like, main lead in the movie, and they killed him off. It was almost like Finding Nemo, where they kill off Nemo's mom in the first 5 minutes of the movie. It's kind of something similar to that. And I thought about it, and I thought, like, man, that's what most salespeople do. they, they like they kill the deal so quickly that it's gone, and I could care less. Like I could care less about them. I could care less about the product they might or might not be trying to like put before me. And that's why it's so important to like spend time up front getting people to care about whatever you're trying to talk to them about, so that you don't get blown away and they could care less. Like, oh, the major character just died in the movie and I could care less. Like I don't even know who they are.
That's a good analogy.
Well, I counter that with there was and this is kind of really odd to bring up, but one of the very famous serial killers. I'm trying to think who he was. The blonde-headed kid that went to prison.
Oh,
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Dahmer. Yes.
Jeffrey Dahmer. So that particular movie, I think it was on HBO. They showed a baby being born. Then the baby started growing up or whatever, and the baby had some developmental problems and really close to the mom, and like you felt like you really knew this young man because you saw him being born and saw him as a little boy, and now he's a young man. Now he meets Jeffrey Dahmer, and Jeffrey Dahmer kills him. Well, now you're sad, right? Like they walked you through this whole thing, and you're like, yeah, you're almost crying because you just saw this baby get killed by Jeffrey Dahmer. Like that's what your mindset is. And but it's so important to make that emotional connection in sales. And so like we've been talking about like so many emotional level things, like the inner voice, the doubt, the the just do it. Like all that is more on the mindset standpoint than it is on the how to sell. And the many times the how to sell comes out on how to think about what you're selling. Like your own mindset is probably more important than anything you know about a product. Like you'd mentioned that, like, and that's missed on so many sales trainers and at the corporate level, at the internet level. They don't spend time talking about mindset. It's all about, okay, I got this script that I wrote that if you say this, you're going to get all these appointments and your life is going to be wonderful. Well, how about the mindset? Like the mindset is more important than the pitch. The pitch is important, don't get me wrong, but if you got a poor mindset, the likelihood you're going to be successful is super low.
Oh, I real quick, I'll share with you.
Yeah.
When I started expanding, real estate started expanding to a team, my mentor actually sent some girl to me and said, hire this girl, bring her on your team. You two would be amazing together. She reminds me so much of you. And I was like, cool, another me, that'd be awesome, right? So bring her in, we talk. I hired her. I said, you know what? I'm going to bring you in. I'm going to get it this week. We'll just kind of see how it goes. And, if it goes well. Long story short, not even an hour later, John, she texts me, doesn't even call me, text me. I can't do this. I'm quitting.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, I'm working, so I don't follow up. I don't care. Right. I'm like, whatever. My mentor calls me. What happened to Heather? I said, I don't know. What did happen to Heather? She quit. Oh, she called me crying. And he's like, what did you do to her? I'm like, I did nothing. I didn't do anything to her. He goes,
right.
He goes, you want to know what you did to her? And I go, okay, tell me. Somebody told her to F off. And she called me and she was crying. And so I talked to her a little bit. And I'm a big jokester. And I was like, sweetheart, you know what? I'm going to tell you what I tell my kids. But did you die? No.
Right. Yeah.
You're okay. You're going to be okay. I was like, go make some more calls. That's why she quit.
That's wild. That is wild.
So talk about mentality. Like, yeah, I was like, you should quit, because if you are going to get that upset over someone telling you to F off, like this is not ever going to be the space for you, because you're going to get way worse than that. Trust me. You
got to have thick skin. Yeah. That's funny. I get it though. I mean, I get it. Like, I can understand on both sides of it. I totally understand on both sides of it, but like, I'm not immune to the rejection, but I'm also like, so what? Like, you know what? Like, You know, I just, whatever, like you're a means to an end. Like, you know, if you're not wanting to do business, I'm really not wanting to do business with you. Like, you'll be lucky if you ever talk to me again. You know, like you got to have that mindset. You just got to have that mindset of, you know, I have something that's of value. And if you don't want it, somebody else does. This is your shot. You know, if you don't take it, oh, well, next, you know, it's like, you got to have that mindset.
It'll eat you alive if not. Like if you try to like get upset over each one or figure out what you did wrong every time, you'll never go anywhere. It's like,
no, yeah, you just got to manage that stress. And that's the thing too. And we talked about this earlier, and this is probably going to be like a double album. It's like George Harrison's triple album when he started doing music. So we might do 2 episodes with your 1 episode. But what I'm saying is that it's the mindset is so key here, and being able to like pick yourself back up like a running back. Like a running back, you get thrown down, you got to get back up. You get beat up, you get tackled hard, you got to keep going. And you make a little bit of headway and you get thrown back down. You make a little bit of headway and you get thrown back down. You got to get back up and keep going. Like Emmitt Smith back in the day with the Dallas Cowboys, he was like my mental picture of how to do a sales day. Like I'd make a cold call and I make some headway, and okay, these people are interested. Awesome. I was in the chemical business. I'll send a sample, go to the next one. This guy just told me to go to hell. Okay, I just got thrown back down, just like Emmitt Smith. And, you know,
I love that.
The whole mindset of like being a running back. Okay, you're grabbing it here. Oh, you made a lot of headway. You're trying to get a touchdown. Sell is very similar to a touchdown. It doesn't happen on the first down. It doesn't happen on the 4th down. It happens with consecutive plays run over and over and over, and in changing the process to get just a little further. Emmitt Smith was such an amazing word picture for me in sales.
Superhuman, by the way. He was superhuman. He was a superhuman on that field.
Oh my God.
Superhuman.
I can't say enough good things about Emmitt Smith, but like when they were trying to tackle him, he would like spin and throw his arm out and just get just a little more yardage. And it was so awesome to watch. And that's sales. Like, yeah, you can't let your ego get in the way.
You just made me think of something, you know.
Okay.
I'm big on sports too.
Okay.
And I remember same thing, thinking about like, just like in sales, you go over the playbook, you go over every play, you sit for hours going to sales trainings and meetings, and you do all this stuff. Okay, great. You're prepared. You show up to practice every day, do all this. Okay, in the arena, it's game time, right? That ball snaps and everything that you just practiced for changed because you have no idea what's going to happen on the other side. Knowing how to execute and pivot in that moment in real time is something that nobody prepared me for in sales. And that was the way that I never played football, but I love football. And I would be like, wait, this is what we do every day. Like I've coached football, right, with my son when he was little.
Yeah.
And like, I'm like, it changes. And the moment that you get onto that phone call or whatever it is that you get into, you know, talking, it's like, yeah, you may have gone along beautifully with the game plan. You had best of intentions. But once that ball is snapped, you have no clue.
That's true. That is absolutely
guarantee
true.
That next play.
That is so true. I mean, and I see that every day in like the complexity of the business I'm in, because it's like it could go in 10 different directions every single interaction, and a lot of times they take you through just a rabbit hole that leads nowhere. Like, you know, if you let them. Yeah. And it's so important to be able to. It's almost like you're in childcare. It's so important. It's like, Billy, come here. This is your art project, Billy. Sit here. Here's the blue crayon. Fill it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is almost like what sales is. Like, get them back focused. Billy, this is what you said you wanted to do. You told me you wanted to draw this picture for your mom. Here are the crayons. Do it. You know, it's like refocus, complete, take the action, get it completed. And man, that's business. Like so many times people are like all over the place. Like you're trying to get them focused on like completing the business, closing the business, getting what they asked for. This is what you asked for. So you got to like, baby steps. But anyway, Lori, this has been fantastic. I think we got 2 episodes out of this, which is kind of good because like I like doing two for one. That's pretty awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
so here's the thing from a logistics standpoint. So
You're so cool. I appreciate this opportunity.
oh yeah, you can clip as much as you want to. It's fun. Yeah. I'll throw a little commercial in this thing too, because I am a commercial.
I love your intro voice, like the whole radio. That's awesome. That's so cool.
You like the radio voice? Good deal. Yeah, I hope it never changes. I hope I die with this radio voice. Okay. Lori, what a great episode. Thank you so much for coming on Sales Warrior War Room. Okay, so Lori, everybody that's in the War Room has to say War Room.
Oh, I have to say it?
Yeah, you have to say it. Yeah. Do you want me to show you how to do it again?
Yeah, get it for me.
Okay, so it's like this, Lori. It's like the War Room. So it's got to be kind of even guttural.
Highest person ever. Okay, I'm in the war room.
All right, awesome. Lori's in the war room. All right. Well, we had a good time in the war room. I think it's been all mental, and I think that's fantastic. Like the mental tools of selling is kind of what I teach, and that's all we've talked about is like the mental side of business and the mental side of like the scary stuff that mainly is never going to hurt us. It's just like scary. And it's not like real fun, but that's why you can make a bunch of money, because if it was fun, everybody would do it. And so, having thick skin is a good thing in business and sales. But we'll go ahead and sign off the War Room for this episode. This could be a double episode. So 2 episodes for one, Lori. So Lori, thank you so much again for coming on the War Room. Do you want to say goodbye to everybody in the War Room?
Thank y'all for having me. I hope I dropped a couple nuggets for y'all. And thank you, John. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely, Lori. And for everybody in the War Room, cheers, everybody.